Hey viewer, welcome into the channel. I hope everyone's having a good day. This is going to be the third past life regression that I'm recording, but it's actually part 2 to the second one, which is titled something about facing the shadow. Okay, if you haven't clicked into part 2, you may want to, to that reading, you may want to watch that first so you can get the details the backstory to this story. Okay. Let's get into it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some energies from this deck. It's going to let me know which parts of my past life we're tapping into regarding this past life regression. A past life regression is basically when you go into a meditative state, much like a trance, okay? You cross over the black and white squares, okay? And what you do is basically you you pass over these black and white squares, and then you start to experience these different visions and see different things that you were a part of in a past life, another lifetime, or another dimension, okay, or an outer world. All right, so far we have Brigid, okay? You are a healer, okay? I'm getting a lot of a Fukin energy here, okay? But it doesn't have to be, but I am getting that. Also, some earth sign energy, Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo could be here as well, okay? I feel like you're a very magical being, and this might have been the only energy left to connect to, or that ties this final story, or final, because it's not going to be the final, but I feel like this part. So it's going to tie this second half of facing your shadow. I feel like this is why you had to face your shadow. This is why you faced it. And now this is your honor. Like, this is your purpose. This is your destiny. And they're saying at this moment is to be fulfilled. So now the prophecy is going to be fulfilled. Okay. Any other energies, Holy Spirit? I don't think so. They're saying the bottom of the deck. Okay. Emotep, the visionary. All right, so these are the two energies that something about the one behind it, Inanna. I knew it. I said in the last one that Inanna was going to make her appearance. She was at the bottom of the deck of the last past life regression that we did, and so she's showing again. I'm going to take her, okay, along with this butterfly maiden. Okay, I feel like this is where they're saying this is where it ends, but this is also where it begins. Okay, there's some form of butterfly maiden, a beautiful change that's going to be occurring. Okay, they said that's it. Okay, so let me make sure I got these all in view, and for you, me, everybody. Okay, let's set them over here. I don't want to pull anymore because I don't want to see what's behind that. They don't want me to see what's behind that because it's not relevant to this reading. So I'm just going to do it like this and we can see them all, right? Yeah. Okay. So we have your healer. We have your visionary, believe in yourself, and we have beautiful change. So the energies are Brigid, Emotep, Inanna, and this beautiful, this butterfly maiden, okay? This is giving me some fairy energy, but from an Indian, like your Indian ancestors, the indigenous side of life, or you, or your view or perspective. So anyway, let's get into it. So in my notes here, it says, so when I rose up from being kicked by this deer, again, reference part 1, or the one that's titled Facing the Shadow, for the details, okay, of the deer. I arrived in or at a shipwreck site, okay? But it was the palace. It was the same palace that was oozing off of me, but it had been turned or oozing onto me, whose energy was radiating onto me, okay? And it's like at this time, though, the palace was on its side. There were no lights on, no oozing energy, no energy permeating from the palace. It was almost like the scene off of Titanic, right? When they go back to the ship, there's no lights because it's already sunk, and it's like they're going through. It was like the first give me the word. Initial. It was the first initial sighting or location of the ship, right? The Titanic. It gave me that vibe. Like, it was like, you know, they first happened up on the ship before they go back, and it transformed to back in the day and how it looked, and it was beautiful and everything was polished and shiny and new, right? But in this case, it was the same ship, not the Titanic, but a shipwreck, and everything was turned on its side. The statues were on its side. Everything was misplaced or out of place, but you can tell that at some point there was a beautiful black and white checkered flooring, which incidentally ended up being on the wall because, again, the ship had turned on its side, right? So these statues and rubble and debris that I saw, it was just, like I said, like just on its side, as if the ship was on its side. It had capsized, okay? So a particular statue drew me in, okay? And when I went to this statue, I noticed this statue was a statue of me, okay? And this statue was laying on its side, and I was like, oh no, this statue is like, it's on its side. Like, I can't pick up everything in here, but I can pick this statue up and I can stand it back up on its upright and on its feet, right? And so that's what I began to do. I stood this statue up that was laying on its side. I was also drawn to what was an anchor, okay? I'm sorry, not an anchor. It was an archer. When I stood this statue up, I realized it was a Sagittarian statue. It was a half horse, half woman with the archer, you know, the arrow, the bow and arrow shooting out or getting ready to, you know, pulled back in position. All right. And I went to stood it up. I stood it up. Okay. It was a full intact statue, bow and arrow and all. All right. Horse mane and tail and all. Okay. And once I did, it's like the floor that was on on its side, or that ended up being on the wall because it was turned on its side. The floor ended up turning back upright. Okay, so the floor became the floor again. The statue stood upright. Okay. Figuratively speaking, you could say the statue, like I said, the statue, it was me. So in this case, the statue is going to represent you. You've turned something upright. You've turned a shipwreck upright, okay? It's no longer a shipwreck, all right? It's like as soon as I did that, as soon as I stood that statue upright and put the floors back in position where they should be, it was like I then returned back out of the ship and back out into the open sea. But I turned around to look at this palace, which was the ship, and the lights came back on. It then became the part in Titanic where the lights were on. There was livelihood. The music was playing. There was no fear of or no aftermath of the shipwreck or the sunken ship. The statues on its side. Everything was back in its place. The lights were turned on. It was evidence of people being home. It's like this regression, it returned me home, okay? It returned the lights back on. It activated me. The palace became activated again, okay? The black and white floors, they weren't dingy anymore. The black and white floors were polished, okay, spotless, like immaculate. I'm hearing immaculate conception, okay? These floors you could eat off of, all right? These are floors like at my auntie's house, okay? My auntie floors are so clean, you can eat off of them, okay, at any point in time. But anyway, so basically it was like everything, the paint, the floors, the statues, everything was refinished. It was repolished. the lights were on, everything was glistening and gleaming and shining, okay? And that's the energy, all right, that came with this past life regression. So that's all that I have. Based off what I'm seeing here, continue to believe in yourself. Because whatever you're doing, whatever recipe or whatever formula, okay, is definitely working, but there is evidence that's about to shine through, or that is already shown through, that the proof is in the pudding. Okay, what you have been able to complete, what you have been able to achieve, what you have been able to accomplish, okay, there is this beautiful change that you're going to experience. They're telling me now I can look behind this card. So we have sacred medicine. This is Asclepius, okay? This is the energy of Ophiuchus right here, all right? Wielding the snake, all right? This is that energy. This is you being a master healer. You're turned on. You're fully activated. I'm hearing shine on. Shine on. I'm gonna have to drop that in the description box because that's actually a really old song that I'm hearing. Okay. Interesting. Well, I hope you have enjoyed. That'll be the title of this past life regression. Shine on. I feel like your lights are on. I feel like lights, camera, action. Okay. I hope you're ready. I feel like you don't have a choice. You've been prepared for this. You're here. The moment is here. The time is here. There's no more waiting. There's no more hiding. Okay. It's time for you to work that. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you haven't already, you guys, go check out the last series of zodiacs that I just dropped. They're titled 777, or they have that emoji. Okay. You may find a message there for you. Okay. I'm hearing hidden in plain sight. All right. You could have been an angel in disguise. Okay. Take it as it resonates. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, be sure to like, share, comment, or subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.